What's good? It's Jordan. Today I'll be talking to you about your grind will always pay off. See, in this life today, we have to focus on ourselves. We have to understand that in this life it's going to be hard. There's going to be hard times. There's going to be times that we have to put in the hard work. There's going to be times that we have to understand the grind that we have to go through. We have to understand that in this life, in order for us to build a strong, solid foundation, we have to grind. In this life, nothing is given to us easy. We have to grind. Sometimes it is easier said than done because we may see other people's achievements and accomplishments and what they've done in this life. Do not focus on those people. Do not worry about those people. Worry about yourself. Worry about what you can get done today. Worry about what you can get done tomorrow. Worry about what you can get done next week. Worry about what you can get done next month. Worry about what you can get done next year. If we constantly adapt this mindset of worrying about what we can do now and constantly doing it upon days, weeks, months, and years, we'll start to see changes in our lives. It starts from what we can do today. Every day that we're provided the ability to wake up and see ourselves on a day-to-day basis is important. We have to understand the importance of being able to change the narrative and direction in our own personal lives, because only we can change the narrative in our own personal lives. Nobody else can do it for us. We may try to seek others in order for them to help us, but in reality, this journey is personal. We have to understand the importance of the journey that we're placed on, the mission and path that we're placed on. We have to understand the passion that we have to take in our own personal lives to understand ourselves. We have to be passionate about ourselves. We have to understand the importance of being passionate, the importance of knowing self. Sometimes you do have to be a little bit delusional in your own personal lives in order for you to create the path that you want to be on, because nobody else is going to do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. You have to understand it for yourself. So it's best that we understand it earlier than later. We have to understand that there are many people in this life that decided that they wanted to follow the rules of society. What society wants you to do. Society wants you to live a certain type of life. And when we start to follow society's rules, then we start to lose self and appreciation for self. Society tells you that you can live the American dream, that you can have a stable career path that is providing you numerous amounts of resources, a family for men, a wife and kids, for women, a husband and kids, property, a business, so to speak, numerous amounts of resources, numerous amounts of networking and social opportunities, the American dream, so to speak, business proposals, ideas that can provide more resources, stocks and bonds, investments, so to speak, everything in this life that provides you access and freedom. That is what society wants to portray. But we have to understand that in this life, everybody has their own lives to live. Everybody has their own mission, their own path, and their own journey. And when we decide to live by society standards, essentially what we're saying is we do not trust ourselves. Essentially what we're saying is we don't trust our own guidelines for our own personal lives. And society wants you to be dependent on them instead of being dependent on self. And this is programming in itself, because when you watch media platforms and publications, it shows these illusions on a brighter spectrum and a brighter scale, broadcasting this daily. So you feel like you can do this. Many people feel like this, but it is important that you understand how to break the programming. It is important that you understand how to defeat the programming, because if you don't, essentially you will be pulled in to these narratives that you're not even supposed to be a part of. Many times in this life, many people have been pulled into that narrative, and when somebody sees that you're able to break that programming, they will try to pull you into that narrative too. They may ask you certain questions like what career path you have, do you have a wife and kids, do you have a stable family, do you have stable income, what business proposals that do you have, properties that you may have, investments that you may have. And they may ask these questions because they want to filter you and monitor you, and they want to know what type of person you are through all these different labels that I just named. And when you provide them an answer, dependent on that answer, they put you in a different class, whether it be low class, middle class, or high class. There's different classes. And when we understand these classes, and we understand that society makes these classes for us to feel insecure about ourselves, for us to not understand our path, mission, or purpose, for us to always want to seek validation and approval from others, then we start to actually monitor self. If we are able to actually understand where this programming stems from, we start to understand how to break this programming and this cycle that stops us from actually being free, then we'll start to be free. But as I saw in my own personal life, I saw that many times people are fine with these programmings. They're fine with this system. They're fine with how society wants things ran, because many times you'll see many people still indulging in these practices and feeling as if they're better than you through these practices, trying to compete with you. And many times when somebody tries to compete with you, essentially what they're saying subconsciously is you're better than them, and they just want to really know that you are actually better than them. And they have a feeling and understanding that you are better than them, but they want to constantly test you to see if they can be better than you, even though they know that you are better than them. What we have to understand in this life is many people are competing. We may not see it on the forefront, but we have to understand this and move accordingly. Because if we don't understand this and if we don't move accordingly, then we can be lost to this. But if you understand that many people are competing in this life, then you start to see things from a different perspective. Understand that when somebody competes with you, essentially, you are better than them. They want to challenge you and stop you from being better than them. What we can do, those who don't compete, is we can just continue to do the things that we are doing. When somebody has to compete with us, understand that we're on the right path, we're on the right mission, and those people do not want to see you go further than what they feel that they can do in their own personal lives themselves. See, in this life today, it's important to understand self, because when you understand self, you do not need to compete. You could just be yourself and do your thing. We have to understand the importance of our own personal grinds and our own personal missions and our own personal ambitions. When we understand self and we understand passion that comes behind what we do in this life today, then there's no need to compete. Keep that in mind when navigating in this life, because it is important that we know what is going on. We can be blindsided if we do not know what is going on. And we have to understand that in this life today, it is a daily mission and a daily grind. Sometimes you're not going to want to do the work. You're not going to want to do anything in general because it may be far-fetched and hard for us to actually achieve it. But if we constantly put ourselves in the best position possible to get out there and give it our best shot, then we will see some sort of result in that. And many times the result that you may see is that you are able to push yourself further than the limitations that you may have had in your own personal mind. The limitations that you may have in your own personal mind are just illusions. And we have to understand these deceptive practices that the mind plays, that the enemy plays. we can push the limitations in our mind if we identify and understand the importance of breaking barriers, breaking insecurities that may stop us, negative character traits that may stop us. And we decide that we want to put our best foot forward to live on the righteous path, in the righteous way, and change the narrative within our lives today. So today, I'll be leaving you with these scriptures, and I hope that these scriptures can help you in your own personal life today. Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men. 2 Thessalonians 3:10-12. For even when you were with you, we would give you this command. If anyone is not willing to work, let him not eat. For we hear that some among you walk in idleness, not busy at work, but busybodies. Now such persons we command and encourage in the Lord Jesus Christ to do their work quietly and to earn their own living. Understand in this life today, it is important that we know the grind that we're on. It is important that we understand and identify self. It is important that we take time in our own personal lives to always analyze our lives, to always analyze the place that we're in, to always look forward and look ahead, because in this life today, we have to understand the changes that may occur before they do occur, and we have to understand ourselves and how we can overcome these changes that may happen in society, so we can place ourselves in the best position forward moving on. I want to thank you for watching today. Peace.